has requested a trade from the Bengals after he was franchise tagged last week at the deadline. Now, the thing about T. Higgins is his contract conversation has been one that's been happening for more than just a year and a half almost because of how great he was as a tag team partner to Jamar Chase for the Cincinnati Bengals, who looked so cool this past weekend.
So cool.
So has sunglasses on inside while talking to people.
Yeah, I love it.
He had great fashion sense too. Had those baggy jeans. I think he might have gone from Abercrombie and Fitch. Not 100% sure, but he looks so cool. If he can stay healthy with what young ownership is doing and the pieces that they have, here we go. The Bengals are a whole new culture. T. Higgins is a beast. T. Higgins is a monster. And I assume with his trade request or whatever the case that's happening, old buddy over there named Duke Toby is saying, Tobin. They call him Toby.
Yeah. Tobes, Toby.
Oh, Tobes, Toby. Hanging out with the hockey boys, they go, Toby. Hanging out in the building, they call him Tobes. I assume Duke is going to say the same exact thing he said about T. Higgins before, which is if you want T. Higgins, go draft one. Okay, he's ours. Whenever people were trying to get him, I know you paid Joe Burrow, but let's try to get a deal done for a guy who certainly could be a number one on most teams if he was to join the majors.
Yeah, I mean, T. Higgins is awesome, but we know they say, like, you can't sign everybody. We can't keep everybody around. We have plenty of good players. They would love to keep him, but what do you think, D-Bet? Like, is there any chance that they actually think about trading him?
No.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
No.
What do you get in return?
Depending on what you get in return, because I would assume that every GM doesn't see T. Higgins or isn't guaranteed that he's a number one. Once again, when you are a part of a tandem, it's one thing. But when you go Juju after AB left, for example, once you get bumped up to that role where, hey, every week now coverages are being rolled to you as opposed to them being rolled to Jamar Chase.
I talked about it last week with T.Y.
It happened to T.Y.
Exactly. So that's a whole different ballgame, especially with receivers. And the Bengals, I don't think there's a world where they can pay two receivers like their number one guys. We can assume that Jamar Chase is going to get his bag. So.
And it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks for T because they hold all the cards.
Yeah.
And the Cincinnati Bengals have done things that other teams wouldn't be willing to do, like go into the final year of somebody's contract. And if somebody offers him, like, we got one more year here, where we are still paying him to play football. The Bengals have proven to do that in the past. Now, everybody says that's all because of financial reasons. This time, I think they have been willing to step up and pay market price and get into the game because they realize they got a guy at quarterback.
Yeah.
They got a guy. And the money that could be made for the Cincinnati Bengals organization, the money that could be made for that city is something that, I'm happy they're capitalizing on. Because Joey B doesn't just fall out of trees.
No.
And that is, I'm happy to hear that. Now, does that mean they're going to be able to pay T? No. But I think they would be very willing to be like, you're a free agent next year. Yeah. And then they can franchise tag again.
Run it back.
You can only do it 2 times. You used to be able to do it 3 times. Now it's only 2 times. If you get back-to-back franchise tags, it jumps, I think, 20% or 25% of what it was the previous year or something like that. So you make more money. But with the way the wide receiver market is, with what T. Higgins could command, because right now it's Calvin Ridley. Who else? Michael Pittman just signed.
It's just him and Hollywood Brown, really. And then there's a couple other ones, but it's really Ridley and
he would love to hit the mark.
Bingo. That's what I'm saying. Not a bad time for T. Higgins to hear if a team wanted to.
What's that number?
The number. I feel like for who?
Justin Jefferson.
For the
21.8.
But I feel like
Justin's about to sign for what? 30.
30.
You would assume at least 30. Tyreek is the top,
30.
right? 30, and maybe around there.
So if you can get somebody for $21 million, this sucks for T. Higgins. We are just laying out how we get to these situations and why this sucks for T. Higgins. But also on the flip side, the Bengals have all the. That's how it works.
Oh, yeah.
The Bengals have all the say, which is why players hate franchise.
I feel like T and Michael Pittman are very similar as far as their skill set and how good they have been. And Pittman basically just got that 46 guaranteed. So which is reported, which is basically 2 years, 23, like a $23 million a year. So I assume T's at least looking for that.
Yeah. And you can look.
Yeah.
They have all the say.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And maybe that's just the way it is. Yeah. And maybe they're still negotiating, or maybe they stopped negotiating.
Did they ever negotiate, though? I heard, wasn't there things that T was kind of upset that they never really engaged?
I don't know.
That was the Rappaport tweet, is that he was pissed because of the fact that the whole entire thing that they did with Pittman, the franchise tag, continue the deal conversations, they did not do that in Cincy, is what the report was.
And the Bengals could easily come out and say, we weren't ready to negotiate. We were still trying to figure out other things. So we put the franchise tag on you so we can move this date. Yes, you get screwed out of it completely, maybe see in the market, but we keep you around. But it's like,
crazy, man.
It's crazy. It's a crazy business.
And then since he got drafted in the second round, I would think his top would be like that Pittman deal, as opposed to Jamar when he resigns. He's going to set a new market because he was a top 5 pick. Like
Justin's going to change it all, right?
Justin's going to change it all, even though he was a late first round, but his numbers are through the roof, and he's been a legit number one damn near since jump. So every week you're going into the game saying, hey, 18 is the game record. We're trying to stop him, and he's still putting up unbelievable numbers. I think he's cracked 1,000 last year and missed damn near half the season. So different ball game.
You talking about Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
180 yards in the first half. Like,
doesn't he have the most yards to start?
A couple times.
Yeah, he beat Randy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. He's let's stay with the Cincinnati Bengals. They have re-signed tight end Drew Sample to a 3-year contract extension.
There it is.
Sure.
There it is.
Hell yeah, Drew. Congratulations, Drew.